Hello YouTube, it's Lion here with Hobbies of a Man once again, and today we are doing another review for Kaiju number 8. Today we will be reviewing chapter 11. Now, same as always, we're going to do a recap, we're going to do a spoiler-filled discussion where I will share my thoughts as well as tell you what happened in the chapter. At the end, we'll talk theories and general notes of things that I noticed that aren't necessarily directly related to this chapter. If you do want to check out the previous video, it's up in the card, or you can check out the playlist as well. I'll put that in the card as well. And yeah, let's just jump into it. So, recap from last week. We have the entrance ceremony. Kikoru is a bit disgruntled by the fact that Kafka is not there. She thinks it's disrespectful to Kafka to not be there because he is the strongest one among them all, and that he saved her life, right? That's what happened last time. Now, Kafka does make it in at some point. He says he walks in, and then they decide that he is a cadet. He's not a general officer, because he did really good for what he was able to without any powers that, without any power suit abilities that everyone else had. So he's going to be a cadet. And the big reveal at the end was that Boldcut knew something was up, that something was wrong and something is fishy, but he just doesn't know when or what it is. That's basically it there. Now, chapter 11. We have 18 pages of content this week, and I think next week we won't have a chapter. I can't remember what week we're on. I think next week we do have a chapter, and then the week after that we don't. I'm not sure what I'm going to do on those off weeks. I might just do, catch-up, rambly, deeper theory videos, but I'm not really sure. If anyone does have a suggestion, please leave it down in the comments. I would appreciate it. So, this chapter had 18 pages, and basically what happens is that we start with a 2-month time skip. We open up on Reno Ichikawa shooting down some stuff. Apparently, they are in a firing demo exercise thing, and he has managed to increase his power level up to 18% out of max output. Or I think, out of max output percentage, he has access to 18% of it, which is a big growth spurt. Then we see a bunch of other characters kind of react. One of them, who is very similar in, range as him, kind of ribs him a little bit. He teases him. He's like, yeah, you gotta step it up. Then there's a few other guys that are, at slightly different levels, and they're also having, a fun time teasing each other, competing, kind of pushing each other to do better, while Kikoru's in the corner, really, really smug, and, she's, flipping her hair back after she shoots, because apparently she has 55% power level available to her, and Kafka finally gets to 1%, and he's super hyped. He's like, oh yeah, I'm the best, it's super awesome. And then he goes off to Kikoru, and he's like, come on, be proud of me, I managed to do something, aren't you excited about that? And she's freaked out. She's like, what the hell, dude, you have nothing on anyone, why are you so smug? Which was really funny. I really enjoy these interactions that all the characters have, which is cool. And then Boldcut comes in. I still don't know his name. I should learn it at some point. But, Vice Captain Boldcut shows up, and he's like, Kafka, that's great, but you're going to get kicked out. You're going to die if within 3 months if you don't actually manage to get better, because 1% is very low. Everyone's at around 10% or more, with Kikoru in her crazy 55%. So, yeah, that's what kind of happens. And then there's good cooperation between the group. Boldcut realizes that, beyond him pushing them, they are pushing each other, they're competing, they're pushing each other to grow, which is really great. It's a very good team dynamic, and it really helps illustrate what we're gonna have in terms of these characters. It's really interesting how that kind of sets up, and it's a good kind of military group, I guess. it kind of shows a good relationship between them. So, the second section here of this chapter is a bath scene. None of the girls are there because, you know, separate genders and stuff. Separate gender baths, but it's not a fan servicey aspect. It's more of a just dudes chilling and having fun with each other. They're teasing each other. They're kind of developing. It's basically a way to introduce all of these other characters and have them interact with Kafka and Reno, which is really great. I'm really happy that we are developing the cast. I still think Mina should have gotten way more character development at this point, but I think it's working out well to kind of keep her in the shadow or kind of keep her away from the main development and keep her as a side so that Kafka can continue to have a way to, you know, want to grow, which is, you know, good in terms of like plot line, but she's been like hyped up a lot, and I think that she deserves a lot more character development at this point. So yeah, all the guys are there, they're chilling. They're teasing each other, you know, they have they're messing with each other about how muscular they are, about how crappy or weak and stuff they are and stuff like that, you know, locker room talk, but without it being, you know, like the disrespectful kind, I guess. You know, just dudes being dudes, having fun with each other, you know, normal stuff. And they even make a joke because they're showing off each other's like muscles, right? And then Kafka's like, dude, you guys should shut up. You guys are so scrawny. You want to look at some real muscle? Look at me. And then they show off his arm that's like super sculpted. And then one of the characters is like, oh my God, that old man is shredded as fuck. And then, they like transition to his stomach and it's like flabby and shit. It's really funny. I thought it was a really good scene. I thought it was it worked really well to make it funny and to keep it lighthearted. So it was really nice. Eventually, they talk about why they all joined the Japan Defense Force. And basically, it turns out that one of them, that basically all of them are in love with Ashiro, / they're really inspired by her. And yeah, basically she saved one of them. One of them is part of the Japan Defense Force out of like family duty. But he was inspired by her, and the other one is pretty similar. They're all kind of like military children, so it kind of makes sense, I guess. And then they ask Kafka, and they all flip out when Kafka's like, yeah, I used to be childhood friends with her. Yeah, you know, they have like a chat. They ask Kafka a bunch of questions, and then Kafka, you know, tells them a bunch of information, like she was born on a sunny day, and she loves cuttlefish, and you know, a bunch of random stuff, and they're really eating it up and stuff. And then shift change again. The girls come out of their own side of the bathhouse. They find the boys passed out on the ground, like dead basically. And it's basically that they got really overheated and they just passed out. And yeah, it kind of has to do with Ashiro, not with Kikoru, with Ashiro, because that was what they were talking about. They spent so much time talking about her that they got overheated and fainted, which is funny. And Kikoru is like, you know what? Boys are morons, which is accurate, I guess. And yeah, then we get another scene shift, and Kafka is studying late at night. And then Bolka comes in. He's like, you know, what's going on? Why are you here? And Kafka has like a chat with him. You know, he's like, well, you told me I'm going to fail, so I have to keep studying and do better and, you know, all of this stuff. And I'm going after you. I'm going to take your spot because I want to be standing next to Mina. And, you know, Bolkut's like, are you sure? You know, they have a little bit of a, like, rivalry there. But it wasn't really a rivalry. It was just kind of like a chat with a confrontational tone. And yeah, apparently then alarm goes off, an attack occurs. They have to ship out to attack some kaiju because the kaiju are back at it again. So that's basically where the chapter ends. So I'm really excited that we are finished with the transitional chapters and that we're going to start going back into the action. Now, these chapters were really good. They gave us a lot of good character building, world building, slight plot progression, but it was all like moving from one section of the plot to another. It was very transitional, and I'm happy that we're going to start going back into the action, because I think that a lot of the action so far with the 11 chapters, I think the mangaka excels at developing characters, but he's not that great at making it really interesting when they're not in the midst of action. So I'm really excited to get back into it. Now, that's basically it. That's all that happened this chapter. Really good stuff, but, you know, overall, not very exciting. But yeah, now theories here. Well, I basically don't really have any. I think what I said last week about Bolcut being kind of a bad guy / antagonist for Kafka is definitely going to be true, especially with the conversation they had here at the end. But I'm not sure to what extent and for how long. It's difficult to tell. We don't really know, and we don't have a precedent for how this mangaka structures his stories, so we really don't know anything. But I'm kind of excited to see where it goes, and I say this every video, but it's true. I'm really happy with this series, and I really want to enjoy my time with it, and it hasn't disappointed yet, so I'm really excited. Now, we are at 11 chapters, so I think that's definitely time for it to be turned into a tankobon. So hopefully we'll get a physical release, you know, in the coming months. For the US, I don't think it'll probably be anywhere before spring next year, like March, but you never know. If it's been really popular on Manga Plus, the British version of Viz Media, of the Shonen Jump app, and it's been pretty popular on the Shonen Jump app as well. So hopefully that popularity transfers over to getting quick tankobons. Hopefully, because I think I would personally be really excited to buy some physical editions of this. But yeah, that's basically it for me. Thank you guys very much for watching. If you did like, please leave a like, subscribe, and comment that below. Let me know what you guys thought. And yeah, thank you guys very much for watching. See you guys later.